All right. Well, thank you all for coming today. Coach, you want to introduce these guys and kind of tell us why you brought them with you today?
Yeah, I got 4 seniors with me today: Owen Leonard, Sam Fox, Quinn Davis, and Jackson Fixler. All seniors, all leaders on this team, play different roles on this team. They're excited to be here today, more than just getting out of school.
Sure.
But they're excited. Okay, I'm excited for the questions you got for them. Looking for a big year for them.
Yeah. Guys, tell me a little bit about what you saw from this team in the summer. What were you impressed by? What kind of gives you some excitement for this season ahead?
Definitely the way we play. We play with a lot of heart, energy. We play together too, so it's not just a one-man effort. That's all 5. But just that energy we bring too. We play together.
I'm seeing in our practices we're all working together really well and we're making each other better, and that's kind of what we're looking for, is having more growth and practicing well together.
Yeah, we're walking around with a lot more swagger this year than last year.
And I also feel like we have a lot of depth with this team. I feel like there's no drop-off. I feel like you can play all of us and we'll all give the same energy, effort, and we'll all contribute to the team.
Yeah. Coach, what's the biggest difference from last year to this year that you see?
The fact that these 4 guys just said what they said. The confidence level is a lot higher, and that comes with the trust factor, I think. I think there's a good, not that last year's team wasn't bought in, but it was new, different way of playing and stuff like that. If you come and see us play, we shoot a lot of threes, and we play, like everyone says, they play fast. We take the first best shot. So I don't say we play fast, we take the first open shot, if that makes sense, which, the way these guys have bought into playing, getting up the court, usually it's pretty quick. But like, Owen touched on, the best thing about this program right now, or this team right now, I should say program because it's 9th through 12th grade, there's depth that we got kind of built now, meaning that there's not much of a drop off, from our first wave to our second wave to our third wave, even down into our 4th wave now, of guys being able to come in and compete, and there's high competition. It's healthy competition every single day, not just in practices but in workouts, in the weight room, in academics. These guys are holding each other accountable, and it's nice as a head coach when I can give that reins over to the team, if that makes sense, where I can give these guys the responsibilities of, to be honest, you might not even need me in this interview today. Let these guys take it, let it be their program, and so forth. And it's an old saying, the play is only as good as the players. And it's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
Guys, tell me some things that you've learned over the last year, 2 years that you're going to apply now that you're seniors, you kind of leaders on this year's team.
Iron sharpens iron. Really just in practice and in anything, pushing like another man to to make them better. That's definitely something I picked up from being at Spain Park.
Yeah.
Kind of piggybacking off of what he said, I've noticed that if we don't work together to be the best versions of ourselves, and we kind of just go off by ourselves, we don't end up being nearly as successful as we could be if we pushed each other and made ourselves better in practice.
Yeah, I feel like we have to trust one another. I feel like holding each other accountable, and it'll make each of us better, along with ourselves better, and we'll be the best that we can be.
Yeah, we just stack days every day. Even if there's a terrible practice, next practice, it's great practice. Just keep stacking.
Yeah. When it comes to, this leadership group, what kind of goals do y'all have as a team? I mean, it's easy to say, you want to win all your games, all that kind of stuff, but, what is it that y'all want to accomplish together?
Definitely winning season. Especially, the end goal is definitely to win a state championship, bring home a banner. That is definitely the end goal. But as long as we just do our job and, keeping next game, just winning next game, that just will come.
Of course, we want to win every game we play and make it all the way to state. But I feel like my goal is for us to grow closer together as a team, because it'll make this season more enjoyable, and I think being closer together as teammates will make us more successful and will lead to winning those games.
Yeah, I would also say set an example for the younger kids of how a program should be ran. Player-led, not coach-led. Take accountability.
You got anything? You good?
They took it all.
Covered
didn't
it
they?
all.
Well, so give me a player or teammates that y'all have been impressed by to this point that you've seen grow over the off season, working hard. Who's somebody that you've been really impressed by?
I would say Owen Leonard right here. He didn't really play last season. He had some things going on, but just the way he's been able to keep going in practice. He's gonna give you that 100% effort in practice. And just that's my vote right here.
I've been really impressed with Tommy Morrison. He was a sophomore last year, and he kind of, in our last year's team, we kind of needed him to be a scorer. But this year we have so many scoring weapons that he's learning his role should be less of a scorer. I mean, he's still a very talented scorer, but he's waning away from being just strictly a scorer to being a rebounder and a passer and just overall rounding his game out.
I would say I've been impressed with Harrison Stewart lately. I mean, I feel like that from him taking like 90% of the shots to doing the things he does, make the right plays, he's guarding better, he's doing all the little things right. It's a good feeling and it's a good sign, and I feel like he's going to have a really big season ahead of him.
I gotta go with Cooper Gann on this one. He moving from school to school, coming back, putting in the work on the defense, making everyone better on offense, holding everybody accountability on offense when a mistake happens. So my vote's for Cooper Gann.
Anybody you would add to that list?
Yeah, I mean, I'll piggyback with, it's why these two seniors on the end, Sam and Quinn get, they played a lot last year.
Sure.
So they get a lot of the headlines. But Jackson and Owen, not as much of the headlines and stuff like that, but it's exactly what they've touched on. It's the stuff that they do every single day that makes them better, but that makes the entire program, like I said, top to bottom better. And they kind of touched on all that. And that's what's exciting. Like, you don't have a championship program without guys like Owen and Jackson in it. You just don't. Because they could play the entire game. They could play 1 minute. They could just be on the bench. They could be doing scout. It doesn't matter. They're going to do it to their best ability, and they answer the bell you talk about stacking days every single day. They're first ones in the gym, last ones to leave the gym, and that's the culture that we got, and it's exciting to see. And like Jackson said, it's their program, and that's what's fun as a head coach this year is, we're doing what we do in practice the other day. They're coming out, we're doing 5-on-5, and these guys are, hey, let's do this, let's do that, let's do that. All right, let's do it, right? And they can go out and execute it because they have that trust factor and now that knowledge, of knowing how to play basketball.
Yeah. I mean, Quinn mentioned Tommy. What's kind of the next step for him?
Tommy, exactly what Quinn said. Tommy can dominate a high school basketball game, and he's learning that he can dominate it on all three levels and be that dominant force for us. I mean, he's all of 6'7", if not 6'8", right now. So he's learning to play because he has guard skill sets into that, and that just makes us very diverse as a team because we can do a lot of things with him. And the good thing is these guys know, having the whole year of playing, they know each other's strengths and weaknesses and how to score out of our offense now, and it's fun to watch. He's just very diverse, and he's learning how to guard now too, which is great.
So guys, say team's having a rough day, it's a rough practice, rough game, whatever. Who's the teammate that can kind of lighten the mood and cut up a little?
I mean, I feel like we don't have necessarily just one teammate. I feel like we have already grown our relationship together. So just all of us being around each other, just kind of already gives a light mood. It's never really, nobody's ever that tense or that upset, and if it is, it's always short, and then they work it out, and then it's back to practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Quinn said, it's a standard, and we all hold each other to the standard. So it's not really just a one-person thing. It's really just the Spain Park standard.
Coach, what do you think will be the kind of the determining factor on whether this team kind of has that breakthrough this year or not?
That's a great question. It's the old coach talk, defense, rebounding, but it's to continue to, it's a blessing to have 1 through 15, and it's a curse sometimes to have 1 through 15. So keeping all 15 guys, it's great right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just coach talk, and these guys, we're open with the program to talk about it. But is there a game where just because of matchups you don't get to play much? How is your locker room in a winning locker room? How is your locker room attitude? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I'm excited about this program and this team with right now is, it's trending in a great direction. And when the lights come on, and you saw it this summer. The bench was phenomenal. A championship team has a championship bench, and that's what I was really proud of the guys over the summer and we talk about making each other better. There was games where, hey, you got to play a certain role this game. And that role could be getting this guy ready for the next game, and the role could also be, all right, this guy's down, now you're in, you need to be ready to go, and he has to trust him that he's ready. So that's the challenge of as coaching and putting it all together. But when these guys are bought into it and these guys hold each other accountable for those situations and those roles, that's when you flourish. And I'm excited, to kind of see how that leads. Especially, we have a challenging schedule. If you know anything about how I schedule, it's not easy. Last year was a tough schedule. I would argue this year is even harder. And that's when I didn't come into high school basketball to just be in Alabama, if that makes sense. So I want to have a national schedule. We're going to play 2 of the best teams out of Georgia. We're playing 2 of the best teams out of Mississippi this year to challenge these guys because they've earned that challenge. If they weren't ready for it, I wouldn't put them on the schedule. Well, I'd probably still put them on the schedule. We weren't ready technically for it last year, but it made us ready for it this year, if that makes sense. So I'm excited for the schedule to challenge these guys and see if they can, rise to that occasion.
Yeah. All right, guys. So if you're sitting here today and you see where the team's at, how much better do you think this team can be from now until you get to February?
It's really just up from here. Every day, just continue to push each other, making each other better. Even when the season starts, playing other teams, playing that strong schedule we got, it's really just up from here. Just being better every game, every practice, every day.
I see us growing a bunch because this year we have kind of a different group than we had before. We have a lot of new pieces coming in. And so our first couple practices they weren't rough, but you could tell it was a new team. And even since then, we've grown so much as a program. So I can see us from now until December, January keep growing, keep getting better.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit. Every day. Doesn't matter how much we want it to grow. It depends on our attitude towards growing.
Yeah.
So we could grow a little bit or we can grow a lot. Right now, our attitude's been really good, so we've grown a lot since the summer.
Yeah.
I feel like we've just been putting in a lot of work lately. Weight room, on the court, off the court, everywhere. We've just been putting in work, and I feel like that's going to translate, and I feel like we're going to be one of the best teams in the state this year.
What else do we need to know about the Jags this year?
We're coming, man. We're coming.
Watch out.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun year. It's gonna be a fun year. I think 6A is a lot of fun this year. I really do. I think 6A is gonna be a great. Our area is gonna be good, but 6A as a whole is open this year and in a good way. I think it's gonna be high level. To just get into the playoffs, and then that 6A state playoff run is going to be a lot of fun for basketball. And I think Birmingham basketball, the city of Birmingham basketball, is strong this year. There's a lot of good players. There's a lot of good teams. There's a lot of good coaches. I'm excited to get some game film in and get watching it, and getting out on the road and stuff like that. But it's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a fun year. So like these guys said, we control our growth, and it's going the right way.
Awesome.